November 2004, roughly 100 miles southwest off the coast of San Diego, occurred what has become one of the most well-known and credible UFO cases in modern history, the Tic Tac UFO. A top-secret military video of it was leaked onto the internet in 2007, and 13 years later, the Pentagon themselves admitted it was real. Along with arguably the two other most well-respected UFO sightings, the Gimbal and GoFast videos. But the part that no one talks about is that the same day the Pentagon confirmed those videos, they also released documents and research papers describing craft that could control space-time itself, and that they potentially have the technology to create transmedium crafts that can go through air, space, and water with no inertia. In this video, come with me as we discuss the Tic Tac, Gimbal, and GoFast UFOs and the research documents released by the Pentagon. November 2004, 100 miles southwest off the coast of San Diego, a Navy carrier strike group known as the USS Nimitz was conducting routine exercises. One of the largest warships in the world with 2 nuclear reactors on board, and was accompanied by multiple ships, one of which was the USS Princeton. While performing a routine exercise, 2 F-18 jets were contacted by the radar operator Kevin Day, informing them that they had some unidentified sightings on the radar system. Day reported groups of 5 to 10 unidentified objects flying at 25,000 to 80,000 feet over a 2-week span. They would move in erratic zigzag motions, rapid extreme increases and decreases in altitude, and would hover despite the winds typically between 50 and 100 knots at these altitudes. To rule out any equipment malfunctions, the AN Spy-1 radar system, the most advanced radar at the time, was taken apart and recalibrated, which only led to even more objects appearing on the radar. Sailors would use binoculars and even see the objects in the distance starting over the ocean. Day informed the pilots, one of which was Commander David Fravor, to check out the object. Fravor said initially that all that could be seen was a white disturbance on the surface of the ocean's surface, in what he described as looking like frothy waters and foam, as if the water were boiling. Another pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Kurth, was completing his test flight in the area right before Fravor arrived, and said that he saw the disturbance in the water as well, that it looked like the water was breaking atop something like a sinking vessel. Once Fravor got closer, he mentioned he noticed a white object that resembled a tic-tac making erratic motions above the water disturbance. Estimated to be around 40 feet, no wings, edges, or noticeable means of propulsion, and moving in what he described as a ping pong ball bouncing in a cup. After watching the object for around 5 minutes, Fravor began to circle down to get a closer look, which then caused the tic-tac to begin circling up, matching Fravor's trajectory, until Fravor decided to make an aggressive turn that then led to the tic-tac shooting off over the horizon. Fravor and the other pilots radioed this back and were given a rendezvous point 60 miles away known as a cap point. In under 1 minute, they were radioed again, informed that the tic-tac was already there at their cap point, and by the time they got there, it was gone. Fravor and crew were brought back to the Nimitz, while other jets that had advanced infrared cameras known as FLIR cameras were sent back out, leading to this video being captured. Officially, Lou Elizondo, the former director of ATIP, was a fundamental force in getting this video out to the public around 2017. But all the way back in 2007, this video was posted on the website abovetopsecret.com, but was dismissed as non-definitive and non-convincing. There have also been rumors that the craft is Lockheed Martin technology due to these supposed leaked documents, but they came from one random user on Twitter, and there's been nothing else to corroborate this with, and Jeremy Corbell has said it is unequivocally not ours, and says he knows what disinformation is being pushed to muddy the waters, and that this is one of them.
Even Commander Fravor, where they're trying to kind of convince him that Lockheed Martin, as an example, had some sort of similar technology to what he saw. First of all, he laughed. He's like, if people knew my job right now, they would know that I know that is not true.
Additionally, this Twitter user pointed out that the font used is a common font available in tools like Photoshop, and that the font does not match the ones in genuine, declassified CIA and Lockheed Martin documents. But other big names in the UFO space say the direct opposite, such as these clips of Ross Coulthart and Dr. Stephen Greer.
I'm going to leave you with one thought today, Bryce. I now know categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology.
That came out of the Lockheed Skunk Works. It's one of ours. It was something that they did on purpose to see this global organization, to see how our military would react.
So you think that Tic Tac was
Oh, absolutely.
Lockheed Skunk Works?
And if this wasn't already convincing enough, Congressman Eric Burleson, a popular politician in the UFO Senate hearings, mentions he's been told there are multiple iterations of the Tic Tac craft, which corroborates the document showing it is the second generation.
I've had two people come to me that say that the Tic Tac is a Lockheed Martin creation. The latest person that came to me says that he has video of the first, second, and third iteration of the Tic Tac, and he's going to show me. So I'm trying to set that up. The way he describes it is that they had a prototype, they've made changes to it, they've made it more advanced, and then now it's in iteration number 3, which I did see a photo of, and it looks like pretty advanced military craft, like a plane, but it's clearly human made.
Going back to Ross Carhart, he has the most interesting take, as he says originally that the craft was Lockheed Martin tech, and then clarifies that he meant controlled by Lockheed, not that they created it.
All I'm saying, and I'll reiterate this, is that sources have told me that the Tic Tac that was seen by David Fravor was being operated or controlled by people associated with Lockheed Martin. And as I've said earlier, we don't know if that means the object was constructed by Lockheed Martin. I actually think that's highly unlikely, or whether it was being operated, for example, psionically. What I am told is that day there was a very stupid blue-on-blue attempt, an attempt to test technology that was in the possession of Lockheed Martin against a carrier battle fleet.
Now fast forward to 2014 to discuss the Gimbal and GoFast videos. Now off the East Coast by Jacksonville, Florida, was sailing the USS Roosevelt, which is among the US Navy's largest nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, just like the Nimitz. Navy fighter jets had just been retrofitted with advanced Raytheon radar systems and immediately had an uptick in unidentified radar sightings. Ryan Graves is the main source in this situation, where just like Fravor, he has gone on multiple podcasts and has testified in front of Congress about his experience. Graves says hundreds, potentially thousands of UAP sightings were happening for multiple years off of the East Coast, and that it was a daily occurrence.
Lieutenant Graves told us pilots training off the Atlantic coast see things like that all the time.
Every day for at least a couple of years. This was something we were briefing to new students. This is something that was included in the notice to airmen to ensure that there was no accidents.
Another weird detail of these UAPs is that they hardly ever were seen visually. They were almost exclusively seen on radar, with only a handful of visual descriptions. They didn't look like the Tic Tac, and sometimes were spherical, other times they were partially translucent spheres with cubes inside. Even stranger, multiple Navy pilots reported despite being unable to see the object visually, they were able to lock radar and missiles onto the object.
When they updated their jet's radar, making it possible to zero in with infrared targeting cameras.
So you're seeing it both with the radar and with the infrared, and that tells you that there is something out there.
Pretty hard to spoof that.
In 2015, 2 videos were captured and popularized. The first is known as the Gimbal video, due to the appearance of the craft rotating as if on a gimbal.
Dude, this is on, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing. It's rotating.
The second video is also very popular, known as the GoFast video, and was captured a few weeks after the gimbal.
Nickel 6-1 Tango, Roger, over. Oh, got it! Woohoo! Roger, there's troubleshooting as soon as I get... Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at that, man.
Now, an honest good point by skeptics is that if this was happening daily, why are there not tons of videos? Well, there could be. It could be these are the only two that made it out because Lou Elizondo, at the same time of getting the Tic Tac video out, got these two out of the Pentagon as well. They then got into the hands of Christopher Mellon, which then led to the bombshell New York Times article in 2017 that really changed the UFO landscape as we know it today. Now fast forward to 2020. The US Department of Defense released a statement on the release of these Navy videos. They authorized the release of these videos in the attempt to prevent any confusion on if they were real and confirmed that the objects remain unidentified. They provided a link to review the videos, and in doing so also included multiple other files such as emails about FOIA requests, military contracts, and multiple presentations and research papers on topics such as inertial mass reduction devices, room temperature superconductors, and high frequency wave generators, all of which have long been theorized as the missing piece in being able to reproduce this technology. I want to be clear here, these are not some unverified documents coming from random sources. This is coming directly from the US government. Much of this material is also connected to Salvatore Pais, a relatively lesser known but recurring name in both advanced propulsion discussions and the UFO research community. In these papers, he mentions a mass inertial reduction device, something I discussed in my video on black triangles. Interestingly enough, it also goes hand in hand with the patent reviewed in that video, along with again using the diagram of a triangular craft. The difference this time is that these were released by the Department of Defense themselves, along with slideshows discussing the technology, and that this invention could greatly reduce inertial mass along with gravitational mass, allowing for extreme speeds to be achieved, and that it opens the door for a hybrid aerospace undersea craft capable of extreme underwater speeds due to lack of water skin friction. The craft would move with great ease through airspace and water mediums, which means it would be known as a transmedium craft, as many UAPs are known to be. The research papers also mention that by affecting the space-time around the craft, it could effectively sit inside a localized gravitational bubble, which sounds very similar to Bob Lazar's description.
It doesn't shield you, but essentially you're in, and this is a terrible way to say it, almost in a different realm, because you're now influenced only by that gravitational field. For instance, people wonder how a craft like this can make a turn at such high speed, a 90-degree turn, when they would imagine people slamming up against the wall or something to that effect. Well, that really wouldn't happen. Inertia would have no effect.
The following slide mentions the IMRD could be used as an artificial gravitational wave generator, which could affect local space-time on a grand scale. Funny enough, Salvatore Pais also has a patent for a gravitational wave generator. Oh, and the electromagnetic field he's been mentioning is needed? He has a patent for generating that too. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that just because a patent is issued doesn't mean the technology exists, nor does it have to be proven to work or even have the materials to build it. You just have to describe it clearly enough that an engineer could theoretically build it. Additionally, with the U.S. Invention Secrecy Act, the U.S. has the right to not allow certain patents into the public domain, so this does poke some major holes into their feasibility. UFOs have always had a negative, disapproving stigma around them since they were first introduced into mainstream society in the 1940s. These videos, along with a New York Times article, blew that door off and has since led to more and more people being accepting of the idea of extraterrestrial life out there in the universe and visiting Earth. But what most people still don't know is that the US government, including the Department of Defense, have confirmed that there are real UAPs flying around, unknown to even our most advanced radar and tracking systems. Even my last video on Trump potentially releasing the UFO files covers this as well, with both Barack Obama and Bill Clinton saying UFOs are confirmed. So tell me what you think down in the comments below. Do you think the Tic Tac is a Lockheed Martin technology? Are we looking at something that's beyond our current understanding of physics, but matches the same physics hinted at in Salvatore Pais' publicly available patents? And if those patents are public, while the Invention Secrecy Act allows the US to hide certain patents, what does that tell us about their feasibility? Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.